If you are currently watching this, you probably think 4-star units eventually get phased out with other 5-star units. You assume you need the newest 5-star character to clear endgame content. But I'm going to be the first to tell you that you are actively sabotaging your team's total damage if you leave this one free character benched and unnoticed. Sanhua is still single-handedly the best 4-star unit in the entire game, and the damage she enables will allow you to clear endgame modes like Tower of Adversity way faster than most limited 5-star teams. Stick around because in this video, I am going to be showing you how to correctly fix your echoes and rotation when it comes to playing Sanhua. So let's get right into the guide. Okay, to start off, Sanhua is a glacial element hybrid sword user who is the ultimate example of a quick swap support battery. She provides enormous team buffs while demanding minimal investment and having zero field time. You get your first copy of her for free by logging in on day 5, making her an essential free-to-play powerhouse. Her kit is the perfect introduction to the quick swap playstyle in Weathering Waves, as I just mentioned before. She's very easy to understand, but will take a little bit of practice to get used to. And not only that, she has one of the fastest concerto generations in the entire game. The biggest thing that mainly sticks out about Sanhua is her ability to be a support battery. She requires little to no field time, so you can mainly focus on your DPS and their rotation and learning how to play them if you don't know how to yet. Today, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to utilize her to unlock her true 5-star potential that you're missing out on. So let's start talking about Sanhua's kit. Your ultimate goal with Sanhua is to execute the Ice Burst nuke. The entire sequence of creating and detonating her 3 ice constructs as quickly as possible, then swap out immediately using her outro skill so that we can get to your next main DPS, so that way they can deal damage. So essentially, let's talk about the Forte circuit and let's break it down. You can create up to a maximum of 3 glacial constructs. The Ice Storm, which is the intro skill, the Ice Prism, which is the resonance skill, and then the Glacier, which is the resonance liberation or the ultimate burst. You detonate these 3 glaciers by holding your basic attack, which triggers the Forte detonate minigame. Releasing the heavy attack in the frostbite area detonates all the constructs, dealing massive damage and generating concerto energy. Specific skills grant clarity stacks to widen the frostbite area, which is your essential goal when doing the rotation with Sanhua. The resonance liberation grants 2 stacks and the resonance skill grants 1 stack. Since you are going to be utilizing both in the rotation anyways, you are always guaranteed to have a wide, safe frostbite area for you to detonate. Now let's talk about the abilities. To start off, we got Sanhua's basic attack. She has a total of 5 basic attacks, with the final attack increasing her Forte circuit. Next up, we have the resonance skill, which generates an ice prism and deals glacial damage. Then we have the resonance liberation or the ultimate burst, which generates a glacier and deals even more damage. Next up, we have Sanhua's intro skill, which is another way to create a glacier and deals damage upon switching into her. And lastly, we have the outro skill, which is the core part of her kit, which creates the basic attack damage deepen buff for the resonator who swaps into the field after her rotation. And this is the 5-star value that she brings, is this core thing right here. Now that we understand Sanhua's kit, let's talk about the most efficient rotation. The goal is to shorten the rotation as much as possible to minimize the time off your main DPS. The optimal quick rotation is going to be the intro skill, which creates Thorn, which is when you intro into Sanhua, and then doing 3 basic attacks since you end up on basic attack 3 when you intro skill into Sanhua, which is actually an easier way to get her rotation done quicker. Basically, you skip the first 2 basic attacks, saving some time in Sanhua's kit so that way you can get to your main DPS faster. After you finish the intro skill and the basic attack, you're going to want to do the resonance liberation so you can create that second glacier. Then next up, we have her resonance skill, which creates the 3rd and final glacier. By the time you get here, the Forte detonation should be very easy, and what you're going to want to do is hold basic attack to detonate all 3 of the glaciers that we have created so far in the rotation. Then once all 3 of those glaciers have successfully blown up, you're going to want to swap to your echo skill, which is going to be the Heron. And simultaneously, as you're switching your resonator into that echo, you're going to want to perform a swap cancel by taking Sanhua's outro skill and intro skilling into your DPS character, which is the next in line for your rotation. This rotation is very quick. It ensures all constructs are deployed, the nuke is fired, echo buffs are applied, and activate the massive outro buff with the minimal field time that we require to get to our next main DPS on fielder. And when done correctly, it should look exactly like this.
Shackles be gone. Cycle upward. A change. Bloom for passion show.
Next on the list, we got Sanhua's weapons. Before picking a weapon, remember Sanhua's damage is concentrated into her single Ice Burst nuke. If that one big hit fails to crit, you lose up to 3 times the damage. Crit rate is not optional, but it is mandatory. And the reason why it is mandatory is because it's really good when Sanhua could have a quick rotation and minimal field time and still dish out damage when you're doing Tower of Adversity or Hologram and you're trying to get those quick clears. In my honest opinion, for both free-to-play players and players who do spend money, I would say the Emerald of Genesis is going to be your best of value, mainly because it is very very easy to come by because it is on the standard weapon banner, and you can easily get it for free when you get the 5-star free weapon selector. The most reliable, or should I say the best in slot option in my own opinion, is the Emerald of Genesis. It provides high base attack and a massive crit substat, instantly solving her biggest problem in her kit. It's the highest value standard banner weapon for her, and I just think all in all, if you can get it for free, I would utilize it for Sanhua because she's an amazing character. Next up, we have the Blazing Brilliance, which is arguably actually the best in slot weapon. Now, the reason why I don't think so is because this is Chang Li's weapon, which means if you most likely have this weapon, you probably got it for Chang Li or another character that you plan on investing more into. It's also really hard to justify pulling this weapon singly for a 4-star character, unless the difference ends up being so controversial that it sparks a new meta, but I haven't really ever seen this. So I would not use the weapon on her unless if you already have it or you might have an extra duplicate laying around. I just wouldn't just go for it because it's Sanhua's best in slot, because you have the Emerald of Genesis. Now, if you don't have access to either one of these 5-star weapons, then you could go for the 4-star best in slot Commando of Conviction. This foresight gives you great attack percentage substat, and its passive grants you a huge attack buff right when she swaps into her intro skill, maximizing her short on-field presence before she is swapped out. Now, when it comes to Sanhua, you want to make sure that you're prioritizing her best echo so that way she can fit her support role as a hybrid character the best as possible. This is why we're going to rock a 5-piece status set of the Moonlit Clouds. This set is vital for her because it stacks an additional attack percentage buff boost on top of her outro skill, providing your main DPS with an awesome combined buff. Then on top of that, you get bonus energy regeneration. And as for your main slot echo, you want to use the Heron because before swapping out, you use the Heron as one last buff for your main DPS, as it provides that main DPS with extra attack damage and provides Sanhua with extra energy for her next rotation when you do end up going back to her. Now, when it comes to the cost amount, you want to run a 4-3-3-1-1 set and prioritize crit rate or crit damage on the 4-cost echo, and on the 3-cost echoes, you want to prioritize glacial damage bonus. These should be your main stats for your 3-cost and your 4-cost echoes. Now, the substats you want to prioritize for these echoes is going to be energy regeneration, crit rate, and crit damage. The reason why you want to focus these 3 stats is because the crit rate and crit damage belong in every single sub DPS and DPS character, and you're going to need the energy regeneration to activate Sanhua's ult at a quicker rate. When it comes to Sanhua's best in slot partners, you want characters that can utilize her basic attack, damage, deep, and buff. This is why she is so great. It makes her a permanent, irreplaceable meta enabler, and why she is a perfect 4-star character for the hybrid role. Now, when you think about Sanhua and her kit, you think about how she does quick burst damage, has minimal field time, and provides lots of decent attack buffs for the next character coming in after her rotation. Now, when it comes to the first slot DPS, you want characters that require lots of field time. Now, when I think of characters that require lots of field time, I think of characters like Encore and Camellia, especially Camellia because as her kit requires her to be on the field for most of the duration, she needs to build up those stacks, and it's slower compared to other resonators in the game. But if I'm going to be completely honest, you can use Sanhua in mostly every single team that requires a DPS character to have extra attack buffs because of Sanhua's outro deepen buff. And as for the third slot character, there is no other better option than Verena and Shorekeeper because these are the only 2 support characters in the game that have a must-have value in the third slot role. And the reason being is because of Verena's easy access and the amount of attack buffs and heals that she provides to any given team composition. Then on the other hand, you have Shorekeeper, who does the same, although she is a limited banner character. She has the best buffs in the game for over a year now, basically providing crit rate and crit damage buffs that are basically just hard to ignore. So if you don't have a Shorekeeper, consider getting her. So basically what people like to do is stack Sanhua on top of a Verena or a Shorekeeper for the second and third role, so that way for their first role main DPS character, they get the extra amplification buffs as they stack together. Overall, when it comes to 4-stars in the game of Wuthering Waves, there's not really many of them as far as update 2.0 goes, and I'm sure going forward that they're going to prioritize sending out more 5-star characters than 4 because that's what we've seen so far. But don't quote me on this because obviously things can change and maybe they will come out with a wave of 4-star characters. However, when it comes to the start of the game, Sanhua seems to be at the top and remains at the top because of how much her value is as far as what she provides to a team. In short, Sanhua brings quick burst damage, a optimal rotation so that way you can get to your favorite main DPS faster, and amplification buffs for that DPS that's going to be introing in after Sanhua's rotation. All in all, if you really are looking for a middle slot character to build that really is reliable in any type of situation, Sanhua is going to be that character. Well guys, that concludes this video on how to build and utilize Sanhua in your teams, and basically how she is the best 4-star character in the entire game. If you guys did enjoy the video or you learned something useful, please hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss a video, and also comment your thoughts. My name is Mikey, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.